Donald Trump has received the hero's welcome at the Republican National Convention, the former president's first public appearance since he narrowly survived an attempted assassination.
Gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump arrived at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to a rapturous reception on Monday, 2 days after he was struck in the air by would-be assassins' bullets during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Republican delegates stood and cheered as Mr. Trump, sporting a thick bandage over his right ear, entered the stadium to the sound of country music, Stanley Greenwood singing, "God Bless the USA."
God bless the USA.
Mr. Trump, who appeared visibly moved, did not address the convention but smiled and waved to the crowd and pumped their fists, an invocation of the former president's defiant reaction in the moment after he was shot. After surveying the crowd, Mr. Trump took a seat in the VIP box with some of his children and his newly announced vice presidential running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Multiple speakers addressed Saturday's attack on Trump, who has credited God with saving his life, some of them invoking religious imagery. Other speakers focused on the economy, the official theme of the evening, including Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who said Trump would restore a rip-roaring economy that lifts up all Americans. Mr. Trump, who scored a significant legal win hours before his appearance when a Florida judge dismissed one of 3 pending criminal cases against him, is due to formally accept the Republican nomination on Thursday. Mr. Trump has signaled that unity will be a key theme of the 4-day event, saying in a newspaper interview on Sunday that he would deliver a whole different speech than the one he had originally planned.
Member Board of African American Chamber of Commerce, Doug Brooks, joins us now from Washington, D.C. For more on this, good to have you join us on the program. It's no longer in the realm of speculation. Donald J. Trump is the Republican nominee and J.D. Vance his presidential pick. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, it's pretty much been coming down the line. I mean, Trump is basically about 60 to 70% of the Republican Party that will support him no matter what. J.D. Vance is a bit of an attack dog, I guess, and Trump likes that. J.D. Vance is really gone from being a very anti-Trump person a few years ago to being incredibly pro-Trump. So he's sort of evolved to the point where Trump has found him to be loyal enough to be a vice president.
So what do you think is responsible for that shift? Why J.D. Vance, who was a strident critic of Donald Trump?
He was a strident critic. Now he's I guess you would say a lapdog supporter of Donald Trump. He has really changed his tune. However, the Democrats had already lined up all the commercials, which have J.D. Vance a few years ago, where he was very critical of Trump, calling Trump, among other things, the American Hitler. So Vance was extremely critical and has done a complete 180 to become a slavish Trump supporter. And what Trump values the most is loyalty, as people who will always agree with him and always support him. And I think J.D. Vance has, in the past year or so, since he's been senator, J.D. Vance has really made the case that he will follow Trump no matter what.
And did you see Saturday's assassination attempt have any influence on the unanimous vote that Donald Trump got as Republican nominee on Monday? Probably
a little bit, but not as much as people might expect. Trump is not well liked outside of his core followers that the Democrats call a cult. Basically, he may pick up some sympathy from some of the people in the middle ground, the undecided voters, or the double haters, as they call them, because they hate both Trump and they hate Biden as well. But it hasn't been a huge jump, and I don't expect it will be. Still going to be a tight race going into November when the election is held, but it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's a lock for Trump, even though he leads a little bit. And the Democrats still have to decide if they're going to keep Biden or switch to somebody else.
All right, and following that incident, there were calls for the lowering of the temperature of politics in the U.S. in the build-up to the election. How do you see these candidates, I mean, these nominees, align with that call?
That's a great question. So the MAGA Republicans, the Make America Great, the people supporters who support Trump, I mean, they're basically bread and butter. It really is attacking the Democrats or attacking Democratic policies. So for them to muzzle themselves for the rest of the election, I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Trump is even going to muzzle or lower the temperature of his speeches for very long. They've tried to, in the past, they've tried to say Trump is going to take that presidential corner at some point where he will become a noble politician, statesman. It's never happened, and I don't imagine it will happen in the future. He is not that kind of person, and I think that's what his followers love about him. So he will be, I think fairly soon, he'll be doing some pretty vicious attacks against the Democrats and against Biden or whoever the Democrats choose to replace Biden.
All right, then, member, Board of African American Chamber of Commerce, Doug Brooks, thank you so much for talking to us on World Now.
Pleasure.